Right then, we've been wanting to do this quite a while to be fair, and it has always been planned, but obviously Jesse had loads of things he wanted to do to the car before he wanted to do this, and I feel like he's at a situation now where he's got most things on. He's a little bit shy of a map. It's not mapped yet, but it's got most of the bolt holes and things like that. Now we actually, well I say we bought this car, Jesse bought this car standard, I went to get it with him, and it's quite good actually because I drove this car home when it was totally standard, and I had lots of points to make about it, lots of good things, and there was quite a lot of bad things as well. Now I have drove it here, which is about a 10-minute drive, not fast, and I've kind of got an idea what's been better and what's not been better. So we're going to do a brutally honest review on Jesse's Civic EP3, as Jesse always calls it, an EP3 Type R. Yeah, lads. I actually do like the shape of these. I really do like the shape of them. I think they're a really aggressive car. I think they just scream chav. So I do like that. Now this is the Premier Edition, it's the Cosmic Grey. All you Honda boys will know what the Premier Edition means. That means it comes with the better seats. Yeah, little things like that. It's nothing overly major, but it does have a nice little price tag onto it. But, although I said I absolutely love these cars, and I love the shape of them, there is a reason I didn't get one, and that was when I drove when I was younger. Now, I was young at the time, but I'm going to see if my reasoning was correct when I drive Jesse's now. So we're going to do what we do usually on the channel. We're going to go in, we're going to walk through as you're walking up to the car, sitting in it, and then we're going to go for a drive. So we're going to go over all the quirky little things in the interior, then we're going to take it for a drive. And I've known this car for quite a long time, so you know, I'm kind of in a bit of an advantage here because I've spent a lot of time around the car, so I kind of know what's good and what's bad. But it's kind of difficult in this car because there isn't much wrong with the interior. It's quite annoying, to be fair. Now the one thing you do notice when you get straight in it is the seats. I feel like Honda do a really good job of choosing the right seats, and the seats in the Integras are really nice as well. It's kind of hard to review at the minute because it's been changed so much by Jesse, but as I can remember it a little bit. He's obviously done the whole carbon fibre thing here, which ties off the interior a lot better. It has a lot of depth in the interior because before it's this kind of grey colour, so when you got colours like that, they're kind of in your face, and it kind of takes away a lot of the space inside the cabin. So the carbon fibre adds a lot of depth. Now the wheel, I remember the wheel was quite big as standard. I always complain about the standard wheels being way too big. I don't know if it was because I complained about it so much, I start to think it's just an issue with me and not the cars. But this is a gnarly personal wheel, and it is really nice. It doesn't actually look that aftermarket. It kind of ties in with the interior really well, to be fair. So that's a beautiful job. The one thing I don't like, I really don't like, but it's not anything to do with the Civic in general, it's what Jesse has done. This bloody thing, like look how wide it is. It's so confusing driving with it. It takes up, Jesse absolutely loves it. Me personally, I really don't like it. It's just way too big. It takes up a lot of your space when you're driving. And when you're looking at it, you have like, because I've been driving for so long, your eyes kind of adapt to a certain focal length of where to look in the mirror. With this one, because obviously the zoom, or whatever you want to say, is totally different with it. You kind of look in the middle, and you kind of like concentrate like in the back of the car, and your eyes freak out and it has to refocus, and it's just not fun. So I'm probably going to pull it off when I'm driving, to be honest, because I really don't like that. But it's quite annoying because usually I can go in cars and nitpick loads of the things about the interior which I don't like. With this, there's just nothing there's nothing there which doesn't need to be there, and everything that needs to be there is there. It's kind of like quite frustrating for me because I'm usually really picky about interiors. Like there's just, for the age of it, 2006, it's kind of got that, you know, it's got that Japanese old school feel, but it doesn't feel like a lot of Japanese cars where they just feel like really cheap interior. This actually looks like a really nice interior. It's actually a really nice place to be, and there's cup holders absolutely everywhere. There's just compartments within compartments, like there's a compartment there, another compartment within a compartment, and there's just absolutely everything that you need. What's this, Jesse? You've been itching your ear on your... Now Jesse has stripped out the rear, and he's put the carpet in the back, which, you know, absolutely looks really good, to be fair. And he's got this cross brace, which I know he's had nothing but issues with fitting perfectly. Have you felt like it does much to the rigidity of the car?
The cross brace not as much,
right?
But the strut brace with the cross brace, it works.
Right.
Not majorly, but it just works. It stiffens it up a bit.
So I'm intrigued to see what it drives like. So obviously I drove this car and it's completely standard, without the cross brace, without the strut brace, without all the engine modifications, which we're going to go over now. I'd say the car come totally standard. It did have the intake on when we got it. It did have the intake on.
Yeah, like I said, intake came with the car. There's just an aftermarket fuel rail, aftermarket rocker cover. It's just got 41 on.
Yeah, we just put a 41 manifold on, which apparently in the Honda scene is a really big thing to do. I think that's a big thing in any NA car, because obviously when I got the Clio, that was the biggest thing that people told me to get, the 41 manifold. And it is on IBAT lowering springs. So I think this is actually the shortest ever interior review I've done, because literally there's actually nothing I can say about it. Like, I'm not going to repeat myself, but usually I spend about 5 minutes talking about little things in it which I don't like, but there's just hardly anything in this car which is frustrating, to be fair, so I'm going to have to just bypass it and go on to the way he drives. Oh.
Right, I'll get a shot of you.
Get a nice cinematic of me leaving.
Yeah.
Then I'll just...
Fair enough.
The clutch feels really nice, it starts up well, the starter motor feels healthy. It does just feel like a really nice car. Yeah, we're gonna have to get this off, Jesse. It's confusing the hell out of me. It's gonna mess up the camera as well.
I'm not gonna do it.
Oh, there we go. Look at that, I can see, lads. Yeah. So the first thing I'm gonna know is, I noticed this as soon as I bought the car. Not I bought the car, as soon as I picked up the car, sorry. And I did mention to Jesse, I thought the tracking was out. Now, he has had the tracking redone. So initially I thought it was something to do with the tracking, or something to do with the standard steering wheel taking a lot of the play, or adding a lot of play to the steering column. The steering's really weird in them. It was kind of the same in the Integra, but just not as emphasized. I didn't really notice it as much as I noticed it in this. When you're going at slow, so like a slow speed, the steering is just so, I don't want to use the word unresponsive, but it's got so much play. It feels like there's so much play in the steering rack. Like when you want to turn lanes, you've got to properly put like half a turn of steering. Like, look at that, just to turn lanes. It's really bad. But when you get up to speeds, it really stiffens up and it doesn't become an issue anymore. Now, I don't like that, because at what point does it change? You know what I mean? And I think that's something you'd really have to get used to with the car. At what speed does it change from being sluggish to responsive? Because that could be like, you know, if you didn't know the car and you get in it and you go, all right, okay, so the steering is really sluggish, and then you go around a corner quick and you expect it to be sluggish, and then it stiffens up, that's you being in a ditch. And another thing going on from that with the steering, the car really does not want to come back straight. Say if you're going in a normal car and you're just going like that, and then you let go of the steering wheel, it'll want to go back straight. This doesn't. When you go around a corner, and in normal cars you can let go of the wheel and the car will bring itself center. This does not do that whatsoever. It really doesn't do that. So you've constantly got to keep your hands on the wheel, and you've constantly got to be telling the car exactly where to go in a way. And you can feel like you're constantly fighting across the car in the middle of the road. This just does it all the time. And you really, in normal cars, when you come center, you can feel the car going center. This doesn't do that. I don't know, for me, it's really weird. The handling is really weird, and it's something you definitely would have to get used to. The gearbox feels really good, which leads me on to the next point, really. The main thing about the Civics is they have the gear knob built into the dash. It's not down, it's into the dash. I looked at that and I thought, that feels really weird. But it actually feels no different. It looks different, but it actually feels no different than any other gear stick, genuinely, because of the angle of it. It's that it comes out and up. It feels exactly like if I'm sat in, it's a little bit more forward, but if I'm sat in 4th gear here now and I'm messing with my hand, it feels exactly like it would do in neutral in the Evo. I wouldn't say it's beneficial, and I wouldn't say it has a negative effect. It's just there, and you really wouldn't even notice it whatsoever. Now, Jesse has put a short shifter in this, and in my opinion, doesn't actually feel that short of a throw. So I can't remember what it was like beforehand. It just feels like a really sporty car now. Not in a way where, I know if you put an aftermarket short shifter in, like for example with the Megans, a lot of people put short shifters in them, and they become like really short, to the point where it's difficult to know which gear you're in, and it's hard to slide into gears and stuff. But this feels great. I wouldn't actually get in the car and initially think, has that got a short shifter in? I would just get in and think, all right, that comes with a nice gearbox and factory. Now, I did say before in the video when we was at the intro location, I did say, although I love the shape of it, and there's a reason I didn't buy one. The reason I didn't buy one is the same reason I gave the Integra for the reason I didn't really like it. Is I personally think the engines are that well built and they are that strong. They need to come with more power from the factory. They really do. I mean, you know, like for example, the Integras. Oh, they're hand built and they're built by Formula 1 engineers and this and that and that. Well, why does it come with just over 200 horsepower? Same with these Civics. You know, like they're that strong and they're this and that and they're the best engine I've ever made. Then why did they come with just a little bit more horsepower than a Clio 197? Why is that? That's the only thing I get my head around. I feel like if they've made them that strong, push them a little bit more. But that's the main reason I haven't owned one, is because Hondas aren't cheap, and I feel like there's way more bang for buck out there. So let's floor it from about 4 grand and I'll tell you when the power comes in. Just about there. The limiter bash. But you see so many Hondas out there on YouTube and things where they've literally just stuck a turbo on, got an ECU and just told it how much to fuel, and that's it. And they've run 400, 500 horse. I don't know for how long. I always thought you'd have to change the compression ratios when you turbo and non-turbo engines, but apparently a lot of Honda people don't, and they run for ages. And for example, boosted boys, they just stick turbos on K20s for fun and they're like 600 horsepower. If they can do that, if the engines can do that, why do they come out of the factory with 200 horsepower? That's my biggest issue with it. You know, if you've got such a strong engine, why detune it straight away? Why limit everybody? You know, if you've got an engine there which can do that, wipe out the competition with it. So one more thing to note before we actually, you know, go for some driving in this is, you can't map these ECUs. That's the most annoying thing to me. You can't map the ECUs. The ECUs are not, you can't get into the software, which I think is very annoying. So even if you want little things doing, you have to get a standalone ECU. I feel like if you buy a Honda, it's such a big effort on extracting power from it. Yeah. Brakes are shit, Jesse. Jesus Christ. Wow, they need changing. Let me to third.
Go. Hammer it, lad, hammer it.
I don't want to, these fucking brakes, mate, they're awful. Wow, they're bad, Jesse.
Got my Brembos.
Oh, wow, they're bad, Jesse. Them brakes are bad, mate. Shit. I genuinely went into that corner a lot more confidence in them brakes. Yeah. Lad, they're horrific. The car does what a lot of German cars do. It takes away the perception that you're going fast when you are. Yeah, yeah, it does. It's exactly what it does. Because it lacks the turbo, you don't think you're going that fast. You look down, you think, oh right, I'm going 100 or 80. But even like, I don't know what it is. It must be something to do with the interior, or I don't know what it is. It doesn't feel like you're going fast, but we were going fast then. Yeah. And the steering. What the brakes.
I know, I need to get them sorted.
It still does that thing. I thought if we were upping the speed a bit, they would stop doing that thing where it keeps pulling me all over the road. Or,
yeah.
But it still does that.
Does it?
It's quite, with the brakes then, Jesse, and with that steering. Oh, I didn't like that.
That scare you a bit.
It did, yeah. Right, I think I've driven it enough to get my short-term conclusion on the car. And the short-term conclusion is you need to have it long-term. You really definitely do. I personally think that it's a very particular car. The steering, I've driven a lot of cars. I've never driven anything with steering like that. Personally, at the minute, I don't like it. I think it's something you could manipulate to have an advantage with. But at the minute, I don't like the steering. It doesn't want to just go straight. So when you've been driving cars which do want to go straight, it's really sort of, it's not very user friendly in a way. And with the relation to the power, as I said in the video, it does take away that perception of going fast. You only really know how you're going fast when you look at the speedo, and it is fast. Like the lap times, I can't take away. I think as a track car, it'd be unreal. But I don't know. I can't see that fun side which you're talking about, Jesse.
Can't you?
No, I don't know what it is. It doesn't give me much confidence with it. Whether it's just the brakes, it's definitely the brakes. The brakes are fucked.
Yeah. Oh no.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's the fact you've got what tyres are on it, but it doesn't give me the fun aspects which you do.
It's more
I absolutely love driving it, like I do. It's really responsive. It's nippy. You know, it feels great. It feels so I've said responsive, but the gearbox feels dead light. The flywheels feels really light. It all ties together really, really, really well. Oh shit, I'm done. But I just don't think it suits me very well and my style of driving. I think that's what it is. I think I'm the wrong person to do this car review. The power band's very particular. The steering is just something I've never felt before. And it just feels like there's a bit too much weight in the car. And my mind is trying to think where that weight is and how you can get it out. It just feels like there's a lot of weight in the car somewhere, particularly over the front end. But I don't know where it would be. It's a fast car. It will beat my Clio. We had a run on the Lancer day with all this new stuff on, and it did pull away from me. It's faster than my Clio, but it just doesn't feel as nippy and as frightening. I love driving it, but at the same time, I don't. Because as I say, when I'm in the passenger seat, all these negatives don't show. It's only when I'm driving it that I feel it. But I don't know how to conclude the video, to be fair. I think what I need to do is, I need to take it around a track. I think that's the only thing, that's the only way you can push car to its limits. It's the only way you can comfortably find out the confidence levels of the car. So I think we need to go on a track day, and I need to take it out for a few laps. I think that's what needs to happen. That's the only way I can come up to an assertive conclusion, honestly. Honestly. Yeah. Because it feels so fast in the passenger seat. What the hell, man? What's the fuck, man?
What's the fuck, man?
And the steering doesn't feel, I don't know. This is a weird car, man.